Hello and welcome to the video blog of Sommelier Italia. Today I want to prepare a tea for you starting from my favorite flower, the violet. Every spring I buy candied violets from a pastry shop in the center of Lucca. I've always liked them very much. They are delicate, elegant, poetic, small enough to barely be noticed in the grass, but they are also strong because they have an intense color and a sweet, distinctive fragrance. In the past, these little flowers were often crystallized in sugar and given as precious sweets, especially in the French tradition. But you can also find them here in Italy. It's a little luxury I never deny myself in spring. But today I won't be using them as a sweet. Today I want to use them in tea. The violet, viola odorata, or just violet. Mamola is a small and delicate flower, but with a long history and European tradition. It has been used for centuries in cooking, in syrups, liquors, and infusions. In the 1800s, in European salons, tea was sometimes scented with dried violets. Today I will use it in two different ways. First, I will use it to accompany a very elegant white tea, Bai Mu Dan. Then I'll prepare an intense infusion with dried and ground violets made by me, which I'll use as the water to whisk a matcha. In this way, the same flower will be extracted in two different ways and will interact with two very different preparations. Let's start with Bai Mu Dan. Bai Mu Dan, or white peony, is one of the most refined white teas from China. It is made up of buds and young leaves and has a soft, floral, slightly honeyed aromatic profile. It is a tea that lends itself very well to interacting with delicate ingredients without being overshadowed by them. So I put the Bai Mu Dan in the teapot. Only at this point do I add a few violets. The violets should accompany the tea, not overpower it. The result is a white tea that retains its natural elegance, but is enriched with a floral note, gentle yet clearly perceptible. The violet also has a curious characteristic from the point of view of fragrance. It contains molecules called ionones, which temporarily deactivate the olfactory receptors. For this reason, its scent seems to appear, disappear, and then return again, almost as if it were playing hide and seek with our nose. Alright, now let's try it with matcha tea. This is an experiment, and for this experiment I want to use not only good matcha, but also not a violet infusion, because I'm afraid it might be a bit too delicate for the tea, but actual dried and ground violets that I prepared myself. I'm afraid it might be a bit too delicate for the tea, but actual dried and ground violets that I prepared myself. Let's try it. I'm sifting some Kinuzu matcha powder from Hekisuyen. As you may have guessed, in the absence of the great classics from Orishishime-en and Marukyu Koyama-en, I'm mostly adapting by using matcha from Hekisuyen, which is still a good, famous and renowned company. Okay, now I'm going to break up and sift these ground violets even more because they're not yet a very fine powder, super fine. I'll put in, let's say, a teaspoonful. It works to sift them. It has a wonderful violet scent. I'll let this powder steep just for a minute and then I'll use it to whisk the matcha tea. Okay, I'll filter it into the cup where the matcha has already been sifted. The blue colored water. Okay, it's time to whisk. Let's see what comes out. I have to say, it didn't make a foam. Exceptional, as I would have expected. Maybe the violet particles are still a bit too large, so they somewhat ruin the final result of the foam. But what matters to me is the flavor. You can taste the violet less than in the white tea, where it was really present and made for a successful pairing. Here, although it is quite clearly noticeable, it tends to provide a subtle and somewhat bitter aftertaste. However, it is not so annoying, and all in all, the floral matcha is really special. By the way, I don't know if you know this, but violet is one of the distinctive and characteristic notes of Gyokuro from Uji, so next time you taste a high-quality Gyokuro from Uji, try to pick out the violet note. Because it's quite noticeable, and why not, maybe the next pairing. We could try it with violet